hello, you. I think we have a little bit left over. Okay. Maple, just so you know, Kyler's heading to the bridge.
Handling one thing. Give me a couple minutes.
Yeah, he'll mercy. That's fine. Oh my god, my fucking shirt is being weird. My shirt is like pulling up over the belt, so it's like sitting weirdly. Ugh. I'm gonna try not to think about it too much. Ugh. I'm actually gonna move my my mat for this because whenever I jump it feels weird. There you go. End of the corner of the room, you good? Yep. We're really cutting the headset out, huh?
going to the Hunter's Lodge, or are you just stopping in?
I'm just going for a walk.
See.
Hope you're doing well.
Don't mind us, I suppose.
Oh, terrible. My business is shut down. There's no more fucking meat, so I've got to find some before I get run out of town. It's gonna be great.
Don't let Dorst hear that.
I feel like someone's gonna end up making a pussy up fantasy down there.
Oh Lord. Let me know if any settings I do like makes things weirder, chat. That feels good. That movement feels really fun, actually. Like switching from that to that. Feels very anime. He's beginning to believe.
You're earlier than I expected.
Yeah, couldn't sleep. Apologies.
Right.
We should move.
Forgive me, I do. No. How's your head?
Little foggy.
Hmm.
End up hearing what happened to the Colonel, by any chance?
I don't know the particulars, but I can get. I saw that on the road.
Well, they let him go.
Hmm. That is their decision to make. It's not the one I would have made.
Neither. Some good open ground over that way.
There's a chance that we may have a small bit of company.
Go on.
Yesterday after you retired, I had a confrontation with Lisa.
Ah. How did that go?
She tried to kill me.
Oh. So, not very well.
It was quite something. She did not give up even as the sun had set around Earth. And the only thing we could go by were the sparks from our blades. But eventually she gave in. Apparently he made her a promise. Not unlike the agreement you and I have now. One he was never able to keep for obvious reasons. I do not know where she goes at night, but I suppose it'd be best to seek her out first.
Sure. Probably that way. Or she might be in the cabin, I'm not sure.
Well, lead the way, but let us be quick about it.
Of course. Did she show any footwork when she was fighting you, or was she kind of all over the place?
It is interesting. Initially, no. Initially, she swung, driven purely by emotion, by anger. Swings were wild, uncontrolled. She pulled back on a few. As things continued, she seemed to fall into a certain flow.
She's a quick learner. She might have been picking up on you. I did give her a little bit of a lesson, relaying what you told me earlier on in the day. I was curious if she heard anything. Doesn't sound like anyone's in there.
It's very wise of you.
Is it?
One of the best ways to ensure that you have learned something, or rather, the best way to solidify knowledge of any sort, is to see how well you can teach it to someone else.
Well, if her swings were wild, I didn't do a very good job.
So, for you to be able to teach someone else at all requires you to understand what it is you have learned, be it something martial or scholastic.
Honestly, it was more me trying to practice the footwork that you showed me. And when I saw Jack showing her how to run around the opponent, I couldn't let that slide. I had to step in.
There are ways to circle an opponent, but running around them is not the right way to do it.
It was like cross-country running. It was something.
No. There are certainly ways to circle an opponent. This is something we can discuss at a later date. We will not be covering that today.
Of course.
There are
Well,
a few things you will need to learn first.
if she's not here and she's not at the cabin, I don't know where she is.
Are we going to the fog? Jack spoke very vaguely of it.
It's a weird kind of thing to protect people. I always feel uneasy going close to it for some reason. But
The one time I saw this on my own, it felt very oppressive, but I assumed that was just the cold.
no, it's to keep intruders out.
Does this have anything to do with the Dryad?
Yeah, this is her home kind of thing. The fog protects her. She has to give explicit permission for someone to enter it without having their mind fucked up.
You make it sound like magic.
I don't know what it is. I just know every time I try and think I'm gonna go into it, I end up back out here, not remembering what happened. Maybe there's like something in the fog. It's like a type of smoke, maybe. Anyway, she's not here, so I'm not sure where she could be.
I see. Is there no way for us to enter then?
Not without Lady Dryad's permission.
And she's not present, so...
Yeah.
For now, we will go.
Okay.
In the worst case, as you said, you can take what I show you and pass it along.
Yeah, she's gonna need proper training from someone who actually knows what they're doing, though. I can't just keep relaying stuff. She won't pick it up as well.
I will be around later in the day. I can come to the city if it helps.
I wouldn't risk it. Lisa doesn't go in the city anyway. Actually, I can show you where she sits. She tends to look after people, but she won't go into the city. She waits on the outside. I can show you where she does that if you need to find her. Good chance she could be there.
Very well.
Where do you rest, by the way?
There is a place that Red and I have set up, a hovel. A fair ways that way, a bit out of the region.
So Red's here with you,
Keeps
huh?
us well away from traffic. That is what I said. She is here on her own business.
Interesting.
I didn't
Although I
care
will
much
mention
for
something to
Derek,
you.
but I did not want him to die that way.
I have not told her the truth. It's best if she believes the lie.
Who? Sorry, what?
Red. It is
I
best that she
don't
believes the
know,
lie.
Tang. Just use your fingers. Try to move the bone out of his lungs.
That is what is important.
I know exactly what he's hiding from. An Inquisitor.
Most of it is as you say, and the swamp and the fog are the only places where she frequents. It is possible she passes us here.
I hope so.
Right. For now, limber up. And show me what I taught you yesterday. Go through them. Show me how well you've... Show me how well you can remember it.
He's an Imperial after all.
Four basic linear steps. Good. Remember, kick off the heel when stepping forward and kick off the ball of your foot when moving back. When passing, the pivot always comes first. Do not try and pivot while your foot is in motion,
Captain,
or it will take you off balance.
make sure everyone in the castle hears that Byron Gamble has rode east.
You can tell he's very distracted.
Practice a couple of simple strikes. Good. Always return to a guard position. Faster.
God damn it. He's not breathing. Dang. Just try. Pull the ribs from the lung.
Why are you slowing down? Faster. Focus on the steps.
Can anyone tell me if this was worth it? Was it?
What is it?
Nothing. Just a little tired today.
This is what happens when you don't sleep.
Wasn't my choice.
Be that as it may.
We'll hide him in the scribery. He won't look for him here. The bard's teaching you swordplay. I should like to watch.
You're slowing down again. Plant your feet firm. Do not break the knees. Advancing step, strike. Reverse step, guard. Passing step, practice a parry and move in with your offhand. And then return. Begin. Focus.
I don't know what happened to him after that. I'm sorry.
Enough kicking rocks. Clear the space around you and continue. Again.
I may not have been friends with the boy. Not after his words. But at the end of the day, he resisted the Empire. Spat in the face of the High Inquisitor.
Faster. Do not look down. Trust them to go where you wish for them. Trust your feet, trust yourself. Eyes forward. Good.
Look me in the eyes, Mirandel. Look that boy in his face. Was it worth it?
Faster. Faster.
That's correct, Captain. Byron Gamble rides east. He has escaped the castle.
Don't falter. Plant your feet. Continue. Again.
You may attack the walls, Victor, but make sure you tell Oleander his quarry's escaped! It's how he'd want to be remembered. It's how he'd want to be remembered. Byron Gamble has fled east. Son of the High Inquisitor. Byron Gamble has fled east. Freer of slaves. That's how he'd want to be remembered.
Put the dagger away. Practice with the stock alone. You are less familiar with the weapon. Become intimate with the weight. Continue. Fluid motions with your strikes. Follow through and bring back. Do not stop the momentum of the blade. Practice full swings, not deflections. Full swings. Carry through every strike. Observe. Pause. Observe. Practicing your strikes. Reach. Full cuts. Full cuts. Do not stop. Do not pull in. Do not... Your hand is not made of an elastic. Full strikes. Carry the swing through. And back to a defensive stance. Continue. Again. If you carry the swings through to full, it will engage every muscle in your body. Tighten your core. It may be a light weapon, it still has weight. Good. That is enough. Something is distracting you. What's wrong? Is it the fatigue?
A little bit. Just... Do you ever see or hear something and just replays over and over again?
Why?
Just can't stop hearing things from the past.
And you cannot control this.
No.
Then you are miring yourself in the past.
Say again?
You are miring yourself in the past.
I don't know what that means.
While it is understandable, imagine attempting to wade through swamp water. You are mired in it. It engulfs you, and you are struggling to move. Depending on how deep the water is, you may begin to breathe. If you are attempting to wade through these past memories like a swamp, and it is no wonder you are exhausting yourself.
What's the alternative?
You must learn to accept that what is in the past can no longer be changed. Your past should not control you, but rather it should serve as a lesson. That you might do whatever it takes to avoid such failures in future.
I keep hearing people that I've lost. Like, they're talking to me and stuff.
Talking to you.
Sounds kind of stupid now, actually.
This is not the first time I've heard such thing. Think what you might of the Empire, but even among its ranks, even amongst its armies, there are many soldiers who are simply young men or women, either pressed into service or hoping to do good for a kingdom they love. Not all of them are so vile. And it is those ones who form the strongest bonds in service. And when one is killed, it is those ones who suffer the most. To care for someone is to invite pain into your heart. Many people would tell you that it is best to close yourself off, but you might avoid such pain from ever occurring. But this is wrong. It is in our very nature to care. This is why we all fight for something. If no one was capable of caring, there would be no drive in anyone. There would be no reason to push for anything. Everyone cares for something, be it a person or an ideal. Whether they wish to or not. It is the condition of all those who live in this world, who die in this world. But you should not allow the loss of such things to mire you. Because you cannot change what has already happened. Imagine how those you have lost would feel if they knew. If they knew that you could not move on.
Easier said than done, though.
The best things in life are never easy. The ideal outcome will always have a struggle. But that's a reason not to. Now, let us focus on something else. I'm going to show you something very simple today, but it should help with your own personal drills and practice. And it will also open opportunities for you. What is that noise? Ah, bang. Sorry. He's very lonely walks. Now then. Guard position. I'm going to teach you something called the triangular step. The simplest way to do this is your 2 feet in your guard position are at 2 points of a triangle. The third point is up here. Need I explain how the triangle step works? It is a variant on the passing step. It is very and it allows you to adjust your personal angle without changing your relative position or distance. This is good when you believe an opponent is about to circle you, or if you believe someone is about to come at you from a different angle. Let's say an opponent is going to attack me from my right side. It is incredibly difficult for me to get an effective block or break in without throwing myself off balance or exposing myself completely. So I triangle step, and I can now defend much more easily, and maintain my balance. This is also a very good process when you are doing striking drills. If I were to practice a cut, triangle step into a cut, and I practice my fundamental slices. Understand? 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Notice how I always carry my strike through. I do not stop, yes? If it helps you to focus, keep one hand behind your back. And focus solely on the movement of your sword arm. Strike, step, strike. In one fluid motion. Good. Speed is not essential here. Speed will come with time. This helps you practice adjusting your body, and it helps you get used to the feel of the blade in your hand. This is a good drill to go through solo when you have time. When there is nothing else going on, you can practice essentially anywhere that you have a little bit of space. Remember that when you carry through, imagine you're drawing a circle with the tip of the blade so that the momentum is fluid. It is important that the blade stays at the same speed. Make sure you are engaging your core, and when you strike, do not lean your body. Keep your back straight, maintain poise, maintain balance, and use your arm and your shoulder to gain maximum distance. Good.
Now I get why people say swordsmanship is like dancing.
Precisely.
You a dancer?
No. Well, I was not a bard.
Tarek was.
Occasionally with my old... So you've told me. Occasionally with my old troop, there were times when we would make camp while on a march. After a day of training or whatever duties we had, some of the men liked to sing amongst themselves. They were dreadfully terrible at it, but a few of them did enjoy standing up and singing. Some very simple Eastern songs. The types you would hear people singing atop a table in a tavern. So I would not consider myself a professional, but every swordsman worth his salt We'll dance from time to time.
Tarek was really big into dancing. He was a big dancer. He danced everywhere he went, actually. It's very hard for him to move anywhere without dancing.
Really?
Yeah, so I think it's really important that you pick that up.
Duly noted.
I'm jesting.
Perhaps
Please
you can
don't
teach
dance
me about
everywhere. Oh, I can't dance.
We'll get you there. In a
Ki-
sense.
Kyler can't dance. I do no such thing.
Now, we're going to teach you some sword fundamental. Something specific. The drill I have just shown you is something you can use regardless of your weapon. Sword, short sword, long sword, estoc. All that changes are the particulars of your upper body and how you go about the practice strikes, the practice cuts. But as before, the steps are fairly inconsequential. I would like you to observe your blade. Take it in your hands. Tell me. Can you tell me where the edge of your sword is?
I don't have one on an S-stock.
True. Then let us use this one as an example. Where is the edge on this blade? You just pointed to two separate things. When you hold a blade as such, be it an S-stock, which does have a small edge to it, for the
May have to say again.
I waited, not to worry.
Thank you.
There is always an edge which faces toward your quarry and one which faces toward you. No. Right? You have what is known as the true edge of a blade and the false edge. Can you guess what those are based on the names?
True edge would be the one intending to hit the opponent, right?
Almost. You're on the right track, but the true edge is the one that faces away from your arm. When you do a strike as such, you are striking with the true edge of your blade. But let us imagine another scenario. Let us say I have just followed through a strike, yes? I have missed. You are coming at me with an overhand strike. Now, what is more efficient? For me to turn my blade and attempt to move it to defend, or to swing the back of my blade in a single motion and triangle step. The back of the blade, the side, or rather the edge that faces your arm, is known as the false edge, and there are some forms of strikes and parries that require it. It is important you understand the difference. The false edge is good for clashing while you are repositioning yourself. It is also possible, if I'm in, say, this position, let's say I have a long sword with both hands, I can myself before striking. If I were to do so, that would warn my opponent what I'm about to do, making it easier for them to react. Alternatively, with the false edge, I swing, expecting them to deflect, and I carry the momentum through into a true edge strike. Slightly more advanced, but it is very, very good to learn these things when you are in a one-on-one scenario. These are things we can practice in more depth later, but these are things that you can throw into your regular drills, your practice. The idea that strike, or if you so choose, you can do a false edge strike into a true edge strike. And then bring it back as such. Greetings, Silver.
This feels wrong.
Do you...
Silver, pass along single message. Speak with Dryad soon.
Do you know where she is?
Blue man alive. In Grove. Wait for time. Speak with. Will want to know.
Mm-hmm.
Blue man is alive.
Yeah, I know.
Is this urgent?
No.
As for why it feels wrong, it is about execution. Is there someone there?
Lisa. We looked for you. We couldn't find you. Yeah, I figured. I'm not allowed in there, so, you know.
Right. This should be good, actually. As I said before, best way to learn how well you have retained something is how well you can show it to someone else. Show her the step I taught you. I assume, from what you told me, that you've already shown her the 4 basic steps, yes?
Yeah, but if what you were saying about your fight, she didn't really take it to heart.
Then for now, I want you to go through a couple of basic drills. And I will see if you can perform the full Is that acceptable?
Remember the 4 basic steps, right, Lisa?
Advancing and retreating steps. 5 each. Begin. Good. Basic form seems intact. Passing, step, and retreating pass. Are you familiar, Lisa?
I couldn't remember the name, but I did show her yesterday.
Passing step, where you pivot your forward foot and quite literally pass it with the rear. Were you shown this yesterday? It adjusts which side your body faces. Correct. What I would like for you to do is to begin with your left foot forward. You are a right-handed combatant. Observe. Rather than have your left hand here, as it does you very little this close, bring your left hand more forward. This puts it in a good position. If you are to ever clash with someone, you can reach for the hilt of a weapon or for their wrist. Will not do you much good if it is this close. More loose. And when you step, pivot your front foot. step forward and put yourself in a guard position. And then pivot the back foot and return to the starting position. Both of you practice this 5 times. Watch the position of your left hand. Your off hand for either of you. Good. The form is good. It seems all that occurred was emotion took over. She understands the fundamentals. This is good. This is good. This means we will not need to begin yesterday's lesson any further. As for today, I have taught Kyler a single step. It is good for practicing solo drills. It is also a good step to have when you are attempting to adjust yourself and reposition without changing your distance or orientation from your opponent. Kyler, can you teach her the triangle step?
Basically consists of 2 movements. Your back foot coming forward and your front foot going back. It obviously creates a triangle. 1, 2, third point. So it's just like that. Bop, 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 bop. It's like the front would pivot.
You would always make sure that the back foot is pivoted away. And when doing this, you step forward first, and then you bring the other foot back. There's less pivoting involved and more the natural rotation of your body, of your core. This allows you to quickly adjust your orientation. The example I gave to Kyler earlier is, let's say I am facing an opponent. If I am angled like this and they are coming toward me, my options are retreating past, or if I do not wish to give distance, let us say there's a wall behind me or someone is on the ground, or for some reason I cannot do as such or do not wish to do as such, I step forward and adjust. I can now effectively defend myself without being taken off balance. It is a simple motion, but it is one that is essential. It's also very good for practicing strikes. So for now, hold your blade forward and practice going back and forth. Left side, right side. Good. The movement itself should be quick. You can pause between steps, but the actual steps themselves must be fast. The importance here is speed. Everything I am teaching you is to make your action and reaction as quick as possible. If you are faster than your opponent, you have the advantage. And I do not mean the faster you can run. This is reaction time. This is fine-tuning your muscles. Teach your body to strain its fine motor movements. Dexterity and strength in combination. These motions seem easy, but if I were to tell you to do 1,000 of them without stopping, you would burn by the end. And I'm telling you now that this may be a possibility. For now, do not worry about practicing the block. It is simply something to consider. Keep the sword pointed forward. Eyes trained on one another. Use your sparring partner here as a focus point. Look at their eyes. Keep their feet in your periphery. Eyes are what give someone away. An amateur will always flick their eyes in the direction they wish to strike or move. The tells.
What does that mean?
Means she did not lace up her boots properly before she came here.
Amateur.
Good. Guard positions. This will be a review for you, obviously, Kyler, but as we move through the triangle step back and forth, we will practice strikes, cuts, fluid motions. I've noticed that there is a tendency for those in this place to strike and stop. This is understandable if you're in a situation against an opponent of equivalent skill who is going to deflect your blade. But when we are in practice, assume this is not the case. We must get used to the weight of a blade in our hands, even to that end. We are going to practice follow-through strikes, simple motions. We're going to do a full cut, triangle step into a full cut, triangle step into a full cut. You'll be cutting with the true edge of your blade to the inside of your body. It is important that when you cut down, you keep your spine straight, your body balanced, and you use your arm. Reach as far as you can. Do not lean. Practice a cut from your top right to your bottom left and vice versa. Bring the tip of your blade in a circle as you adjust and cut again. Speed is not important here. Speed comes with time. This is a good drill to do on your own time. When you feel more comfortable, you can increase your pace. But do not sacrifice form or posture just for speed. Maintain your balance. Good. Very good, both of you. Continue those motions. We are going to transition. Continue those motions for now. This is what is going to happen. You're going to do a triangle step, and then once you get yourself into a comfortable position, you are then going to do a passing step and a reverse pass. And then you will go back to a triangle step and do the same. You'll be cutting the entire time. Your blade does not stop moving. Understood? It goes for both of you. If I see the blade stop, I will point it out. Alternate between a back and forth triangular step and a passing step. Give yourselves space from one another if you must. Begin. A back and forth triangular step into a passing step and a reverse pass. Take your time. The point here is to learn how to instinctively maneuver between different types of steps. This is practicing footwork. As you are both already well aware, footwork is essential to everything. Master this and you can master anything. You can master any existing style, you can develop your own. It is not exciting, it is not glamorous, but this will save your life. Good. Lisa, transition. Do a single back and forth of a triangle step into a passing step. Do this back and forth. If you must take a moment to consider your step, do so. Eventually, you will be able to figure it out secondhand. Or rather, second nature, I should say. Observe Kyler. The motion of his hand does not change back and forth. The orientation of his body, his torso, is always the same. The only thing that is different about the transition is what his feet are doing. His body turning back and forth is consistent. His sword cutting to the left, cutting to the right is consistent. The only thing that changes are where his feet take. Good. Very good, Kyler. Maintain a balanced stance. Do not lean into your strikes. Continue. Very good, Lisa. You're getting it. All right. I believe that is enough for that. Guard positions. Whenever we do drills, or whenever you do drills alone, when you stop, you will always return to a guard position. Do not simply lower your body. Do not simply let your muscles relax. Immediately engage your core and return to a guard stance. There are many guard stances. Whichever is preferred for you is fine. There's one last thing we're going to cover. If you come here. Do me a favor and hold your blades up and compare the length. Which of you two has the longer, Kyler?
Probably me.
And what does a longer blade allow you to do? What does it give you?
Reach.
And how important is reach?
Incredibly.
In a standard battle scenario, assuming two armored combatants, having reach is very much that which will get advantage. This is why long swords and great swords are very, very popular among most soldiers. However, the advantage of a short sword, or a shorter weapon in general, is in accessibility, and this is something to be understood. This is something which is not generally taught. Reach is only relevant when you do not have sufficient armor, when there is no shield in play, when you are not wearing at the very least gambeson, when you are exposed. In those situations, the person with reach has the upper hand because they can keep distance, they can strike at a distance that their opponent cannot. But what if neither combatant has their weapon drawn? What if they are sheathed? The shorter blade will always come out faster. And that split second can often be what determines whether you live or die. Many people carry around weapons. A knife or a dagger is easy to conceal and to draw, but you must be close. A short sword is easier to draw if you need to defend yourself. Someone is attacking you in the street. A shorter blade will be easier for you to pull from its sheath and block. Consider the natural motion of one that is on your hip. It always comes to here first. This will always be faster with a shorter weapon, and that is its advantage. Additionally, when armor comes into play, and the immediate gratification of the longer weapon, of a strike or a cut or a thrust, is inhibited. A shorter weapon, while not necessarily faster to strike, this is a fallacy, does allow you to get closer, and thus you can be more precise in areas where it is, rather where your target is more vulnerable. How often have either of you had to deal with an armored opponent? I know you both
every
experienced that,
Tuesday or
but-
Thursday, you tend to deal with those kind of people. Twice a week.
Then you know, more or less, or you have a general idea of where the weaknesses in those types of armors are. It will be easier for you to strike more accurately with a smaller weapon, so do not discount this. But remember that on equal footing when both weapons are drawn, the longer sword, the longer weapon will have the advantage. My suggestion is, if you can, learn how to use longer and shorter weapons, and if ever possible, try to have one of each. Each one serves a different purpose. Shorter weapons are better when you are not expecting to be immediately attacked, and longer weapons are better when you are. Understanding your weapon, its advantages, its disadvantages, is just as important as learning how to use it. This is not terribly much to cover today. I trust you can teach her about true and false edges, which is more of a theoretical, but is a good basic concept to understand. I expect you to internalize what has been learned today, practice in your own time, both yesterday's lesson and today's lesson. We will continue tomorrow, where we will go over something more complicated, but it is best that you have these concepts under your belts first. Otherwise, it will do none of you any good for me to teach you what I wish to. Practice form, practice fluidity, and speed will come in time.
Thank you.
Of course.
In case you didn't know, we tend to meet by that bridge over there first thing in the morning. So saves you being late again if you're not busy. Raylan,
Kyler,
everything okay?
Lisa. It will be, hopefully. You?
Yeah, just getting in some training, stretching the muscles and such. Apparently the Dryad wanted to speak to me about something. Is it urgent?
I'm not entirely sure. She went into town. Not sure who your friend is, but don't want to speak in front of him about anything that is...
We were already finished our business. If this is private, I will take my leave.
I'll see you tomorrow.
I will see you on the morrow.
Unless I whistle, of course. Oh, there's more Inquisitors.
Aye. Never a good sign for anyone.
So, I'm assuming the fact that... Well, the way you just spoke to him, he's not an Inquisitor?
No. I would probably
That's
be
good.
dead or killing someone if he was an Inquisitor.
Yes. I won't ask who he is, but just be careful who you speak to, okay?
Of course.
I know you spoke to Osgood, I don't trust him.
Who, Osgood?
Hmm.
I left out some bits too. He doesn't know that I'm Arn's son.
Yes, but I don't know. Something about him, his story, everything. It's just I don't know. Not quite right. Anyways, I'll let you keep training. But I believe the Dryad and Faye are due into town.
Okay. I'll go find them. You okay?
Arn is alive.
Hmm.
I couldn't leave my island yesterday. I was too scared. Too scared to find out what might have happened to him.
Yeah. I know the feeling.
But can't stand idly around forever, so at least he's alive.
Good. We need you on your feet.
Yes, you too. Your injuries are better now?
Still a little tender, but I can do what I need to do.
Good. Right. This time we will not be leaving you or anyone behind. We're going to get Arn.
Good.
Talk to you soon.
Yeah. How are you feeling? Apparently you nearly tried to kill him last night. It's a lot, I know. I know. I didn't know how I felt about it at first either. I was angry that someone was wearing the face of my friend. But I also remembered Tarek was that kind of person to inspire people. To bring the best out of them. And if his name gets to live on, albeit from someone else, then I'm sure that's what he would want. At least in my opinion. The name Byron Gamble can rally people and give people hope, then I don't know. I'm trying not to think too much about it, honestly. I know. I'm gonna head into town, but if you need me and if you want to do some sparring a little later, come and find me, okay? Okay. You're doing good. Just situating myself in my head, don't worry. It's throwing shit everywhere during training. God, it feels so good to be having a mat underneath my fucking heels again. I'm not on concrete anymore. Yeah. Okay.
Looking good. Better than you could ever do, I imagine.
What the fuck are you talking about? I was doing that for about 6 hours
Right,
earlier.
bro.
Has Maya come through yet?
Go ahead, I'll spot you.
1, 9,
Short little
Redhead, yeah.
hobbit girl.
1 name.
She has not.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Come on. There you are. Ah, it's hard, isn't it? It's hard, isn't it? Yeah.
2, how you feel the burn?
3. Full armor. There you are.
Don't mind me.
4.